Hello everybody, my name is Alesh Eisner and welcome to the Canadian Money Talk, the channel about Canadian investing and personal finance. Please like and subscribe. I record 2 videos per week, so make sure you ring the notification bell to get notified each time one comes out. The next few videos are going to be slightly different format, a little less official. I have been learning about the options market and I have been selling puts and calls for the last 4 months. I have had some success and wanted to share it with my friends and on the Canadian Money Talk YouTube channel. I will show you the Zoom call with one of my friends, Karma, who wanted to learn about selling puts. Please be aware that I rank options trading as speculation, but if done correctly, it can lead to some nice income. Please also be aware, as the disclaimer at the start of the video says, that options can be dangerous financially and that you should always educate yourself and do your own research prior to trading options. As a quick preface, I am describing the selling of put options, which are contracts on the derivatives market. This means I am collecting a premium in cash in exchange for promising, having an obligation, to purchase shares of a certain stock at a specific price, called a strike price. The options expire at a certain date as well. I am generally hoping the stock price stays above the strike price and I do not have to buy the stock at the strike price. If I am forced to buy the shares at a higher price than they are currently, it is likely to lead to me losing money. If I like the stock, I may be fine with being made to buy the stock, but not if the stock has fallen much under the strike price. I generally want the option I sold to expire worthless after I have collected the premium as income, and if I like the stock, I can buy it normally at its market price. I will do a separate official video on options later. And now on to the second part of the seminar with my friend Karma. If you haven't seen part 1, please watch that first. This video will make much more sense. Something to note is that when you're selling puts, you don't own the stock, so you're not getting any dividends. You don't own anything, and so you basically just own an obligation. And so the way this looks is down at the bottom of my stocks, I have these guys, and so here's various options that I've sold. I think I mentioned BMO to you when we were chatting last, and so for BMO, I sold one. It shows as a negative one, as an obligation to it's not an asset, and it's due in November 20th, and I sold it at the strike price is 78. So now I sold it for $321. I sold one contract or 100 shares, and I sold it for, well, $3.21. So the money that I collected immediately as I sold it was $321.80. Now, this column here is the current price of the put. Now you'll notice it's still negative. They're always going to be negative, but it's now worth only $153. So what that means is I sold the put here. The option was here. Sorry, the stock was here, and the put became less valuable. It's now only worth 153 because the stock price had slowly made its way up. So if I look at BMO, let's just punch it in here, and we'll look at its chart. Also, it's been a couple of weeks since I sold that put, so time has also been working for me. So 78. See, so I sold it somewhere here, and so it was actually very close to the money. But since then, BMO has gone up. and it's still higher than it was when I sold the put. And so as a result, the put's value has decreased. I'm looking for stuff that's green. Green is good for me because it means the stock price will likely finish higher than the put, which means to buy I will not have to buy that stock. So uh, green is good, red is bad. So most of mine are green. There's a couple that are red. So anything that's red and there's a significant percent here, then uh, so Afria, which is a cannabis company, I sold it for 230, and it's now worth 370, which means the stock price. So here's the put. The stock price is here. The stock price has slowly been working its way down, and if it makes its way into the money, or as it makes its way towards the money, you can see the prices of the puts are growing. So that's why I'm seeing red. That's why I'm seeing red here on a couple of these.
Wait, can we go through that again? So the after the cannabis.
Yeah. So Afria, uh, the strike price is $6. So let's go to Afria. Afria. They actually had an earnings release, and they didn't quite make the numbers everybody was hoping for, and so you can see a significant drop here. But so when I purchased it, it was I'd have to look when I bought it, but let's say it was here, and then as Afria's price went up, the put was worth less, and so it was all in the green. No pun intended. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then after the earnings call, it dropped. So the price is at 613. The strike price is 6. So basically, if it drops 14 cents, I'm buying Afria at $6.
Mm-hmm.
If it drops down to $5, I'm still buying Afria at $6, even though it's now worth 5. And so, because everything, when I first started doing selling puts, I was kind of confused about the negatives. And the negative just means, and maybe your brokerage will show it differently, but the negative just means you're getting you have an obligation. It stays on here. You collected the premium. Like I collected 208, 230, 694, 321. Like I collected all of these in cash as soon as I sold it. And what I have left is an obligation that I got the cash for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's say I paid fair market value. Sorry, I sold the put at a fair market value. And since then, the time has gone by that works in my favor, but the stock price also moved. And if it moved down towards the put strike price, then the put becomes worth more because it's now closer to the strike price and to getting exercised. And so that's when you'll end up getting uh, negatives here.
Mm-hmm.
As a seller, I want positives.
Right, right.
You want me to do one more example?
Uh, let's see. Sure, yeah.
Okay. So uh, so let's pick Manulife.
Okay,
Actually,
yeah.
well, okay. I actually sold that's not a great example. So BMO we did. Let's do ERF. Um, so Enter Plus. So this is going to be a call. Okay, so this isn't a great example because this is a call. Um, okay, let's do Great West Life. So yeah, there's not much change here, but anyways, let's do Great West Life. So Great West Life, I sold 4 contracts, meaning 400 shares
Mm-hmm.
at $27 strike price. So
Mm-hmm.
if it goes to 26.99 or lower, I am buying Great West Life at 27. So it's 400 shares, right? Four contracts at 100 each, so 400 shares times 27. So
Mm-hmm.
that'll be $10,800 that I would have to, if I wanted to keep the shares, I would have to come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I didn't want to keep the shares, I could just turn around and the same day I could sell the 400 shares, and then I would be out of pocket the difference between the $27 a share and whatever it is at the time that I'm selling them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one's not that interesting because it looks like it's pretty much identical, but so I collected $224.05. It would have been somewhat more. It would have been like 230 or something. But this is after the commission.
Right. Okay.
And so Great West Life is still roughly at 27 and something. So if we go into options, this one is the November one. And so we'll bop over to here. So the 27 ones, it looks like they're selling at 45 cents. The ask is 56. It looks like they're using they're using 56, which, as I said, 45 is probably the likelier one, but they're using 56. So actually, the value of this has gone down quite a bit because I sold them for 56 cents, and I think today you could sell them for 45. I'm not sure why they're using 56, but you're not guaranteed to get that. You might get 50.
Come on, repeat that. So, right today you selling for like how much?
So if I want to sell, I technically can sell only for what the bid is, which is 45.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's bidding to buy them for 45, I can be sure to sell them for 45.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody else out there who, well, technically on Friday, who was willing to sell theirs for 56. Now, if nobody's willing to buy them, and you can see there's 11 cents between them, if nobody's willing to buy them for 56, then there's no transactions.
Right, right. Okay.
And so if I were to try to sell them today, I would maybe put an order in for 51 cents to sell, then I would move it down to 50, 49, and then eventually if nobody wanted it, I'd be like, okay, I'll sell it for 45.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying here is that I actually got 56 cents. I got this much cash, right? 56 times 400. Let's do the calculator. 56 times 400 is the 224 that I got.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're saying that it's worth 224 now, and they're still using 56, which 56 is the ask. There's no guarantee you'll actually get 56. There's a guarantee of getting 45.
Right.
So in actual fact, Grace, this 27 strike option has actually decreased in price by from 56 to what is it to 45. So this should be more greener. This this should be more money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me show you kind of how I track it. Surprisingly, I created a spreadsheet for myself, and so date when I sold it. I did calls initially, but vast majority of them after that have been puts.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have the strike price. Here's kind of the same thing I've been mousing over, which kind of tells you everything, the expiry date and the strike price. Uh, the expiry date is here, so I can use it for calculations. Here's the number of contracts. I always kind of aim for my exposure, as I like to call it, to be between $5,000 and $10,000. So for each of these, wow, this one's kind of low. So, but usually it's like 5 to 10 grand that I try to have an exposure. Here's the premium that I collected immediately
On the puts. Okay.
on the puts. Yeah. And here's kind of the result. So green means it expired worthless. So what that means is, so I'll give you an example. Friday was an expiry, and so right, October 16th. So I had sold previously an Algonquin put at 18. Algonquin is higher than 18. I forget what it is, but we can quickly look. Algonquin is at 20. So the put that had a strike price of 18, it expired worthless. Nobody wanted me to buy their shares that are worth 20 something for 18. Nobody does that, right? You with me on the expiring worthless?
Yep.
Okay. So so now I actually like Algonquin, and so I wouldn't have minded. But I obviously you don't want the price to drop too far, because then there's that then you're getting into this area here. As the price keeps dropping, you're buying something at a higher price than what it's currently worth. So I had gotten, it was 300 shares. I got 50 cents a share for each put. So 150 minus the commission. So I collected 139. My exposure was 5,400. And over the time frame between when I bought it in September and when it expired a month and a half later, when you annualize, so here's the math again. When you annualize it, so it's 50 cents divided by the 18, and then you multiply it times 365, and then whatever the number of days is between September 3rd and October 16th. So let's say 42 divided by 42. So I came up with 24. The actual math is, where's my Algonquin? The actual math is annualized 22% on the $5,400 exposure. Okay. And so my final gain on that one is $139. So I keep stats here. And so if I add up this column, I made $8,300. The stuff that had either expired worthless or that I actually got the shares, that comes to $6,000. And my return percentage is 36%. If I add up this column of all the premiums collected, it comes to close to $10,000. And my other statistic is that 85% of the stuff that I sell expires worthless, which is above average. I think about 75% expires worthless. Um, if you're assuming an upward trending stock market, you puts, which are always the ones underneath, are likelier to expire worthless than call options, which are the ones above. So if I'm only looking at this from a perspective of getting income, I do want them to expire worthless because I've already collected my premium upfront.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, so the next major date is November 20th. That's third Friday of November, and that's when these other options come up. Some of them I sold. Well, I usually try to go about 6 weeks out. So the one that's in kind of danger is this Afria. That's the one that's the cannabis company, because it dropped quite a bit because they had the bad earnings, and so it's now at like $6.12, and the put is at $6. So if it goes down much further, I'm gonna have to buy 1,000 shares of Afria, right? The -10 there at $6 each.
Well, you can hold on to it, or you could
That's
sell it off at a loss, which
that's
is
right.
not the full exposure.
Now, actually, there's another thing you can do, which I'll show you here, is the so the put is a risk to you. It's an obligation. So what you can do is you can purchase the put back. So I had sold it, I collected a premium. Now, so let's say BMO. I have a bad feeling about BMO, and I think it's going to go down. I I sold the put at a $78 strike price. It's gone up, but I have a bad feeling, and I think it's going to go down. Now I sold this for $321. The put is now worth 153. So technically, if I do have that bad feeling, I could turn around and I could buy my one contract, my 100 shares put back for $153. And so I would still be up $168. So that's kind of the other thing you can do. Not to confuse this terribly. I haven't done that, but you can.
Okay.
So this is how it goes. Let's say I like. Okay, let's move out here so there's actual values. The workflow on here isn't the greatest. So let's say I really like Algonquin, and I'm like, I think it's going to keep going up, but in case it goes down, I'd be happy to buy it at $20. So I'm going to sell a put Now you have to remember these prices, unfortunately. So it's 15 cents and 25 cents. So I'm going to sell a put. And I'm going to go, okay, so it's the one that expires in November of 2020. Strike price is 20. I'm going to sell a put. And so here's where it gets kind of gets confusing. So it's, you would do open uncovered, meaning you're looking to open a position, get an obligation.
Mhm.
And so for Algonquin, I'm like, okay, each contract, notice this is in contracts. Each contract is 100 shares. So I'm gonna do 5 contracts, which is 500 shares. So that's gonna put my obligation at a $10,000, right? 500 times 20, which is the strike price. Now, I don't want to do market because then I would sell it for 15 cents. Remember the bid and ask was 15 and 25. So I'm gonna go limit, and I'm gonna say 20 cents. I'm gonna go right in between the bid and ask. For Monday, I'm not gonna execute this, but
Yeah.
okay. So sometimes there's more than one option in November. There's one on the 6th and there's one on the 20th. I was aiming for the 20th. So I'm gonna choose that.
Mhm. Just one moment. So what was the open unrecovered?
I'm sorry, see again?
The open uncovered, sorry.
Yeah, so uncovered means there's no shares covering it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which yeah, there wouldn't be because it's a put. I'm selling a put.
I mean, you could potentially cover it if you had it, right?
No, for puts, you're gonna be buying more shares from somebody,
Oh, right. Okay,
right?
sorry.
Now for calls, you would have covered calls.
Mm-hmm.
That means you already have the shares, and now you're selling a call. For
Right.
put,
Okay.
you'll notice this is called a cash secured put. This concludes part 2 of the Zoom call. Please watch parts 1 and 3 to see the complete seminar. If you have any requests on what you would like me to cover in future videos, please put that into the comment section. Please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and may you have a profitable day.